Oh, hey guys. I was sitting down here working on these triple trees and drawing them out. You know, figuring it all out, figuring out how the springs are gonna fit and you know, all the measurements and how I can utilize the steel that I've got. But something just occurred to me. I need bearings for that headstock. Now, I know I've got an extra set around here somewhere, but I just keep thinking about it and I can't remember what I did with them. They're in my chair. Now these are 1 3/8 bearings with 5/8 inside diameter, which is what I'm going to use because I'm going to use some all thread. I'm going to weld a nut on one end and clean it up, make it look pretty, and then cut it to length, and that way. And I got a set of 1 3/8 with a 1/2 inch inside diameter in there, but finding a 1/2 inch bolt that's long enough, that's 10 inches long, it's like all thread again, and well, I just don't want to do that. I want to use 5/8. So I'm going to take the chair apart, get those bearings out of there. I'll fix this with the 1/2 inch bearings I got and put that back together, and take these bearings and put them back in the bike. These bearings were originally, where were they? They came out of some tires or something. I don't remember. But they're good. There's nothing wrong with them. I believe they're even sealed. I'm not certain, but anyway, we'll see. Alright. Cool. Well, I've taken that chair apart to get those bearings and discovered that they are crap. I don't want them in my bike. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but just, that's why I remember now that they came out of the tires that were in the go-kart when I got it, and they were crappy then, and I replaced them with sealed high-speed bearings, and these were just looking for a place to go till they died, and that's why I put them in this chair that usually sits outside most of the time. So anyway, do you guys remember when I built this thing? How I did that? The way I have to put that together, I have to take an extension that's super long and run it all the way up from the bottom like this up to it to tighten the nut, because I didn't leave enough room in here to put a wrench or anything. It was kind of like hindsight, and I was just lucky I made it to where I have extensions long enough to put it together. So yeah, I'll just have to get some new bearings. Let's have a look at these plans. I got this piece in there, and I did all the math and figured it all out, and that'll work. This is real similar to the one that's on the turf surfer, and then I'm going to duplicate it here. And then on this piece, we'll go in the center in between them. This will be the top and the bottom. This will be in the middle for the springs to sandwich it in between the springs. What happens is your front tire goes up and pushes on the bottom spring, and then it springs back and pushes the tire back down, and the top one keeps it from just shooting down and going bam, you know. It causes enough resistance that it can't just slam, you know. So yeah, but this has got to be cut out enough to avoid the headstock, because it has to go around it, and where the down tubes go will actually be here and here, and then the springs will be up here, and I'll have enough space there to mount a headlight bracket. So yeah, So I got enough steel, and then this goes on top of the two springs to keep them parallel with one another as they go up and down, right below the nuts that hold it all together. And that way they don't go, they don't do crazy stuff like that. They stay together. But do you know how long it takes to cut 1/4 inch steel with an angle grinder? Especially when you have crazy angles like that. That one's going to be really hard to cut out. I really wish I had a mill. Okay, anyway, wishing's, you know, one hand and, you know that saying, wish in one hand and, you know. Anyway, alright. Can you see that? It's like 92 in the shade. Man. I went for a little scooter ride and came back and had all that metal stuff on that table out there, and I couldn't even pick it up without putting gloves on. They say it's 95 in the sun, and she just told me that she heard the heat index was 105. So anyway, needless to say, I brought all the metal stuff in, which I was done drawing on that and stuff. Now it's just a matter of cutting it and drilling it and all that crap, grinding it and finessing it. But what I was doing is drawing out the actual down tubes for the front end, and I figured out my widths, how far apart they need to be up at the top. It's a wishbone shape. They'll come down just below the bottom of the headstock, about 1 inch, and then start bending. And I think just a 45 will be fine. It probably doesn't have to be that severe, actually. I may toy with this angles a little bit and see if I can come up with something else. But 245s will get me right back to straight. And the length is not important yet. I'll figure that out. I can always make these too long and then chop them to fit before I complete the build on it. This is just a look at the stance. I tried to raise it up to where that motor mount plate would be actually dead zero, and it had the front end jacked up pretty far. I wasn't happy with it. It had too much of a 60s and 70s chopper look, and I don't want it to be like that. So I did raise it up the width of one of those pieces of pipe, which is 7/8 of an inch, which got the motor to be 5 degrees off center, leaning forward. And the front end is right at 61, which is fine. That's what the turf surfer is, and it rolls nice. And you know it rolls nice. So that ought to be fine. So my calculations are as follows. On a Springer front end, you want the rear down tubes to be lower than the axle, just so that when you hit a bump it pushes it up instead of pushing it back or down. And this axle, as it sets with the frame level, is at just under 5.5 inches. So we're going to make this 4.5, where the pivot point is. So I'm allowing 2 inches for my tab that's going to hold the bolt. So that'll put it at 6.5, which is, I have a mark there at 6.5. And then from there, I know the tire's going to be 10 inches at least, plus 2 inches just spare room for flex and the fender and everything. So that's a foot. So we come up from that mark 12 inches straight up, which puts us here. And I need 1 inch below here before I start making a turn, just because that's the way I want it. So that leaves us the difference of 6 inches. Well, shoot, Bob's your uncle. Now you know how long that's got to be, plus however long this is, and you know how long your pipe has got to be. So that's 12, 6, and 1, 18, 19 inches. Plus this is 9 1/4. So 19 and 9 would be 28 1/4. Give or take a fraction, because that'll actually have a spacer in between it and the actual top triple tree. So say 28 1/2. Not very long, really, huh? Okay, anyway, that's the math, and that's how you figure that. Now, my concern, can I get 2 bends in 6 inches? No. I tried that before, and you cannot bend a piece that's that close. So I'll probably have to take 2 pieces, bend them, cut them, plug and weld them in order to get that. But that's okay. I can make that happen too. So I took my magic marker and put a mark right here. With just a little bit of gap for the spacer, which just naturally, because of the fatness of the pin, I pulled it out there and I measured from my bottom mark to the mark I just made. How long is it? Do you know? You should. We just talked about it. Put it on that mark and go to that mark. Should be right at 28 1/2. 28 1/4, 28 1/2. Oh, yeah. 28 1/2. Just right there it is. Okay, now we know. I got a pretty good start on getting my holes drilled in all those triple tree parts. And that's all done with 1 step bit. You believe that? I got my 5/8 holes, my 3/8 holes, my pilot holes for my 1-inch holes. Some little holes that'll be used for the handlebar risers. I'm not sure what size that needs to be, but at least I got pilot holes there. Yeah, I guess I gotta do the 4 1-inch holes. On the top plate, they won't actually have holes because it'll just be welded to the bottom of it to give it a nice clean look on the top. Yeah. I think I may have worn my drill out though. Yeah, it started bogging down in a minute. I think I need to let it cool off. Well, got my holes drilled. Yay. That's a big deal. Supposed to have been a 1-inch hole saw I had, and it wouldn't make the hole big enough. So I ended up having to use another step bit that I had that goes up to 1 1/8. But the steps were so shallow, I'd have to flip it over, do half and then flip it over, and just keep finessing with it until I got it to where it works. Anyway, I got it. So cool. Now I got to cut it out, but I'm not doing that tonight. It's too big a deal to start this late in the day. So, there you have it, guys. That's what it is. And that's how it goes. Such as that, in another day, in the shop at Tough Dog's place. I feel good. At least I got that stuff accomplished. You know, I did find, I was double checking my measurements and my, my graphics that I had drawn out on that plate metal. And I did find a mistake, and I ended up having to redo the one for the middle portion. Turned out that big oval that I thought I was going to have to cut out, I shouldn't have to hardly even touch it. I'm going to give it a little something just to give it some I was there type kind of look, but instead of it just being straight across there, I'm going to give it a little curvature to where it looks like it's fitment around that headstock. But yeah, I was gonna have, it was gonna be all screwed up, man. I'm glad I caught that before I did it. Anyway, thanks guys, I'll see ya. And got 2 more days off, and then I gotta go, well, 1 more day off, and then I gotta go to work the next day. But the good thing is, I work 4 days, get 3 days off. Work 3 days, get 4 days off. So it's gonna be happening. We're going to be getting some things done, and it's going to be cool. Now that may only last for a few months, but that should be long enough. Alright, I'll see you guys. Take care. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you next time. Alright, bye-bye.